it's Krystal Everdeen, and today I want to share with you how I crocheted this corset. Now, as per usual, I have never crocheted a project like this before, so I'm pretty much making everything up as I go along here, but hopefully you could follow along and use this video as a guide on how to make your very own crochet corset. So the materials that I will be using today include size 4 yarn, and it is just plain white yarn, 100% acrylic. You can buy this same exact yarn off of Amazon, and I will leave my Amazon affiliate links in the description box below if you want to purchase it from there. And I'm also using a size 5mm hook. I'll also leave a link to the hook I'm using as well in the description box below. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab my yarn, make a slip knot, and if you are a complete beginner to crochet, I do have a crocheting for beginners video in the description box below as well, and I'll also include some more beginner friendly videos in there, which are just like easier projects to follow along with. Although in my mind, I think that this project is going to be kind of easy too. We're just going to break it down in sections, and I think it's going to be fairly simple, so we'll see. So after you create your slip knot, you're going to chain 12. Well, okay, so right now we are making a cup, but I'm just going to make some alterations to the cup. Now, if you don't know how to make a crochet cup, I will also, I know there's a lot of links in the description box below, I'll also leave a link to my how to crochet a cup video, beginner friendly version, in the description box below, and there it's like a very slow tutorial that's very detailed on how to crochet a cup. So essentially I'm going to chain 12 because that's what fits me, but it depends on what size fits you, and again, you can learn more about that in my beginner friendly version of the video. But I'm going to crochet 12, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12, and then from here I'm going to go back on this chain with a single crochet and just crochet down this chain like I normally would. And once I reach the end, I'm going to switch it up to make it more like a cup, and I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So I'm approaching the end right here, and now that I'm at the last stitch, I'm going to flip the project. So instead of working horizontally, I'm going to work vertically. I'm going to chain 3 chains into this one stitch right here in the middle, so that's 2 and then 3, and then I'm going to work my way down the opposite side with yet another row of single crochet, but this time working my way down the opposite side I was originally working on. And again, if you have never crocheted a cup before, I would highly recommend that you check out my beginner friendly version first and then come back to this one. But if you have already, made a million cups, because I have a million videos on how to start a crochet top with a cup, then I'm sure you're following along just fine. Just for those of you who are new to my channel, again, I would recommend that you check out my beginner friendly video on how to make a cup. But anyway, so once I reached the end of that row, I chained 1, flipped the project over, and then made sure to go into the very first stitch of the new row, and then just began my next row of single crochet all along this side of the cup here. And now that I am approaching the top of the cup, I'm going to find the middle stitch, and once I find the middle stitch, I'm going to crochet 3 stitches inside of that one middle stitch, and then work my way down to the opposite side, and then go to the bottom and just repeat the process. But I am going to change it up a little bit once I make my way back up again, but I'll just go ahead and show you just so that I'm not skipping around too much. So now that I have reached the end of this row, again I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, go into the very first stitch, and then start this new row of single crochet, working my way up. And once I approach the top here, so the difference between this cup and what I normally make for my cups is I want this cup to be more rounded than the cups I normally make. So normally I would continue to make 3 single crochets inside of that middle stitch for every single row, but this time I'm going to make that every other row because again I want it to be more rounded at the top as opposed to pointed. So right now if I were to crochet 3 stitches into this one middle stitch, it would definitely look more pointed like this, like a triangle, but I want to kind of keep it round. So I'm only going to do that every other row. So right now I'm just going to go into the middle stitch and then just continue on down to this row. And that's going to kind of round it out a little bit more without making it curve, because if you just continue doing this pattern where you just like go around without adding more stitches in the middle, it's going to start to curve in too much. So that's why I say every other row you do make 3 single crochets inside that one middle stitch, and then for the next row you don't, and then for the next row after that then you do, and so on and so forth. And that's pretty much what the pattern is, and eventually you'll have a much rounder cup. So again, I'm going to go down this row now and do the exact same thing at the bottom right here. So you're going to go into the very last stitch of this row. You're going to make sure that you chain 1, flip the project over, go into the very first stitch of the new row, and then you're going to work your way back up. And once you reach the top, since the last row we did not make those 3 single crochets at the very top, this time we are going to make those 3 single crochets at the top. So since I'm at the top now, I'm going to go ahead and make 1, 2, and 3 single crochets inside of that one stitch, and then I'm just going to continue my way down. And you can see that it's still not necessarily pointed. It's a little bit pointed, but still more round than the cups we typically make on my channel. So that's exactly what you want for this project, because when we wear it, we're actually going to be wearing it like this. So we want this part to be rounded as opposed to triangular, where how we normally wear it, you know, like this, and it's wider. But anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much the pattern that we're going to follow until the cup is wide enough so that when you put it against yourself, you are happy with the coverage. So this is what my project looks like after a few more rows. I actually think it's a little bit too long. I want it to be more round, so I'm going to actually add some width by crocheting 2 single crochets right here on the side. So 2 single crochets inside of this one stitch just right here on the side, just to kind of widen this bottom part out. And then I'm just going to continue with the rest of the pattern. So this is going to be a row where I actually do not make 3 single crochets inside of that one middle stitch, but again, I did want to widen this part out, so I made 2 single crochets on this side inside one stitch, and now I'm going to make 2 single crochets on the opposite side inside of one stitch. So over here 1 and 2, and that's just going to widen the bottom part out. So if you have the same issue where this is still too pointed, I would recommend doing that. Just kind of widen this out to make the cup more round overall, and then as you keep going, then again it'll kind of even out a little bit more. But yeah, just go ahead and follow that pattern. Every other row you're just going to create 3 single crochets inside of that one middle stitch. But also, if you are running into the issue where it's still too pointed, then maybe switch it up to every 3rd row you're going to make 3 single crochets inside of that one middle stitch. You could just go ahead and play it by ear depending on what you want from your cup. So again, I want mine to be very round as opposed to pointed. So I just made those adjustments, and I wanted to show you just in case you ran into the same issue that I did. Okay, so I am done with the cup. this is what it looks like. So when I put it against myself, I'm happy with the coverage, but I am going to be adding probably like 1/2 inch more once I actually create the rest of it. So I would suggest to make it a little bit more on the smaller side as opposed to the larger side. So have it like barely fit you, because we're going to be adding probably again another like 1/2 inch to 1 inch. So yeah, this probably barely fits me, like it barely covers my entire breast. And when I finish the rest of the piece, it's going to be a little bit wider just because of the way that we're going to make it. So yeah, I just want to let you know, don't make it bigger than what you need it to be. It needs to like barely fit you completely. But yeah, once you are done with the cup, we're going to now work on the rest of like the body of the top. So from here, we're going to single crochet our way down, and then we're going to actually extend it from here by chaining however many chains you need in order for it to reach your belly button. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to crochet my way down this cup. See how it's already adding a new row of single crochet. So it's going to automatically make the cup a little bit wider, and little things like that we're going to be doing throughout the project. So that's why in total it's going to be a little bit wider than, you know, your final product right now. So I'm going to crochet my way to about this point. You don't want to like curve in this way because we want to make a line straight across. I'm actually going to start from right here. So from here I'm going to single crochet, I'm going to chain a chain that is going to be long enough to cover to my belly button, and I'll let you know how many chains I create right now. So I crocheted 27 chains. Granted, I am petite, so I have a small torso, so you may need to chain either more or less than me. It totally depends on your body and preference. And again, if you want it to go even longer than your belly button, then, you know, make this chain longer. This is going to be the length of your corset, the point of your corset. So make this as long or short as you want to, but I just want to let you know that mine was 27 chains. So now I'm going to go back on that chain with a single crochet. What's easy about this project is that everything's either single crochet or slip stitch. So yeah, you just really need to know how to make a chain and a single crochet pretty much for the entire project. So yeah, just go back on this chain with a single crochet until you reach the cup. But yeah, for now we're just going to go back on this chain with a single crochet. Okay, so now that we are back at the cup, we're going to slip stitch into the side of the cup here. So this is where we left off, and we're going to go into this next stitch. We're going to slip stitch into it to kind of just attach it. And then we're going to go one stitch up again on the cup, and we're going to single crochet into it. And then kind of like flip it, so that we're going to work on this portion of the project again. So away from the cup and back to the this part that we're making. So from here, I'm actually going to skip this first stitch and go into this next stitch, just because I don't want it to be too built up in this one area. And then it's going to start to ruffle, so I kind of want to make it as stretched out as possible. So from here, I'm just going to single crochet my way down to the end of the row here, and we're just going to go into every single stitch. But after this row, we're going to start to make the point, so we're going to start decreasing. But I think the first 2 rows we're good with not decreasing, so just do the exact same thing we did for the first row. So make it all the way to the end of the row here, and then we're going to chain 1 and flip the project over once we reach the end. But let me just go ahead and show you what that looks like. So making my way over to the very last stitch here, and then I'm going to chain 1, flip the project over, go into the first stitch of the new row, and then repeat the exact same process, where I go all the way down this row, and then once I reach the cup, I'm going to slip stitch into that first stitch, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and then start the new row. Okay, so I went ahead and repeated that process and started the new row. So this is my 3rd row, and I'm going to reach the end right here. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to start decreasing to make that point in our corset. So I'm still going to go into the very last stitch. I'm going to flip the project over without chaining one, go into the very first stitch, and then skip over that second stitch. And what that's going to do is that's going to start pulling the project this way, so that this side, the first row, rather the first 2 rows that we made, are going to be longer than the rest, and subsequently it's going to make it pointed, and that's what we want for the corset style. So that's what we're going to keep doing for the next couple of rows. And then after we have a significant point, we're just going to level it off and just stop decreasing and just keep going as normal. And if you need a better visual, so this is what it looks like so far, right? This is the project. This is essentially going to be the front right here, and then we're going to build the rest. And if you again need a better visual, this is what it's going to look like after we're done. So this is essentially the shape. So we made the cup. Right now we're working on this body part. And again, this is going to be the point right here. And then we're decreasing, so it's going to be getting smaller and smaller as we go up. And then we're going to just level it off right here so that this part is even. So we're going to start decreasing, decreasing, decreasing until we get to about this point. And then we're just going to stop decreasing, but we're going to keep the same size. And yeah, essentially that's what we're working on right now. But that's what we're going to continue doing. So continue decreasing until you get to this point, which essentially is lined up with the other side of your cup right here. And then after you reach this point, you're going to stop decreasing, and you're just going to go into every single stitch, start chaining one at the end, and then again, not skipping any more stitches until you have one piece that wraps halfway, wraps around your side of your body, and then around your back as well, and then meets you right at your spine. And then we're going to, make 2 of these. So this again touches the one side of my spine, and then I'm going to make this one the exact same side as this, so that they meet at the back, and we're going to attach them together. So yes, hopefully again that made sense. But yeah, just continue decreasing until you get to that point. Okay, so after a few more rows of decreasing, this is what the project looks like so far. And at this point, this is when we're just going to start leveling it off, and pretty much just going back and forth on each row without decreasing. So again, we're at this point right now. So we're done decreasing, and we're just going to make it even. But now, instead of just going up and down right here until you reach the bottom of the cup, we're actually going to extend it to the top of the cup. So as you can see right here, we're just going back and forth under the cup. But now that we reach the side, we're going to now single crochet all the way up the side of the entire project. So from here, you're just going to continue single crocheting all the way up and onto the cup until you reach the edge of the cup this time. And once you reach the edge of the cup, you're going to just do the exact same thing you do for every other row. You're going to chain one, flip the project over, and then start the new row. So I'll go ahead and show you right now. So from here, I'm going into the very last row. I'm going to chain one, flip the project over. Then I'm going to go into the first stitch of the new row, and then work my way down, all the way down, not only the cup, but down to the very bottom right here. And just keep going back and forth with that until it is long enough so that when you wrap it around your body, so you wrap it, around your chest right here as if you're going to wear it, and then this should wrap around your side and then your back, and this should touch one side of your spine. And then when you make the second one, it should also be the exact same size as this, and kind of just barely touch, because then we're going to attach them together. So again, from here, I have a little while to go to build my piece so that it is this long. So I am currently at this point, just where this is, and it doesn't align completely. As you could tell, there's one extra row, and that's because when I'm done with the whole thing, I'm going to go all around it with another row of single crochet. So that's why it looks a little bit bigger right here. But pretty much yeah, I'm at this point right now where we're done with the decreasing, and now we're just going to make it all even, and this is the part that's going to wrap around one side of our back. And all we're doing is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, rows and rows of single crochet until you put the project against yourself and you are happy with the coverage. But again, make sure that this barely touches your spine, and when you put the two together, they just barely touch, because if it's too big, if they overlap, then it's not going to fit you right. But if it's too short, then it's going to be too tight as well, and then the front of the top is just going to look weird. It's going to be too much of a gap. So make sure that these two sides of your project just barely touch on your back. So yeah, this is what it looks like so far. We're going to make two pieces of this. This is going to be the lace-up portion, and then this is going to be the solid back that we're eventually going to attach together. But yeah, okay, so I will meet you once I am done with this portion of the project, but on this side. So here is my progress for this side of the top. I just wanted to show you before I was completely done with it. So this is what it should look like. So this is where we were decreasing, and then this is where we decided to just make it even. So this is the beginning of it, and again, it should look something like this when we're done. Just keep going until, again, this part wraps around your back and it touches the middle of your back, and then we're going to do the exact same thing and then make another one of these. So you have two total, and when you put them together, it should look a little bit like this. I don't know why the cup looks so wonky. But yeah, it should look a little bit like this. I wonder if you could see the image, or rather the vision now. So we just need this side to be the same size as this side, and then I could show you how I made the straps, and then we could put it all together and lace it up and be done. So I have finished one side of the corset, and again, you're just going to have to repeat the entire process all over again to make the second one. However, we're not technically done with this one yet, because we're going to add the straps right now. Now, of course, you could add the straps after, but I like to do it all at once. So what I did for this one is, after I was done with this step, I just single crochet my way all around the top. So when I got to this point, which is going to serve as the back strap, I made the back strap and then crocheted my way down, and then single crochet my way to where I wanted to make the front strap. I made the strap, crochet my way down, and then just made one more row all along the top here, just to make it like cleaner and seamless. And after that, then I was completely done crocheting this side of the top, and then I started on this one. But since this one's going to be your first one, we got to figure out where you want to put your straps. So again, it's a lot of kind of like trying it on as if you were going to wear it, and then figuring out where you want the straps to be. That's exactly what I did. I just put it on, tried to align it to where I wanted the straps to be, and then I marked off like what stitches, like from what stitch to what stitch I wanted the strap to go on, and then I just crocheted on those areas, made the strap, and then did the same thing on the other side. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So for the straps, I actually wanted it to be thicker but also thinner at the top, so I could actually tie it together, because if it was thick the whole way, it'd be weird when you tried to tie it together because it's too thick. But by making it smaller at the top, it's easier to tie. But if you want to make your entire strap thick, then you could totally do that. If you want to make your entire strap thin, totally up to you. I just like the way it looks with a thicker strap. So in order for me to do that, again, I marked off from what stitch to what stitch I wanted the strap to go on. So after I reach one stitch, I'm just going to go back and then work my way over to the stitch that I marked off where I wanted the strap to end, and only crochet within that area, and just kind of forget about everything else, like all the other spots. So from here, I'm going to chain one and then make my way over to the other stitch that I marked off, aka like where I want the strap to end, and this is how wide I want my strap to be. And I'm going to double check that's the same size as the other one, because I want them to be even. And then after that, I'm just going to chain 1, flip the project over, and then just crochet my way over to the other edge, and then just continue doing that until I'm happy with the length. And for me, again, I am going to make it thinner on the top, but you don't have to do that if you don't want to. You could just, again, make it as thin or thick as you want to. But for me, I'm going to make a decent amount of rows of just like normal rows, making sure that I chain 1 and flip the project over, go into the very first stitch of the new row to make the edges even for a while, pretty much until I reach the strap reaches my neck. And then everything above the neck, I'm just going to make a chain and then go back on that chain with a slip stitch just to make it a little bit thicker, and then crochet my way over to where I want my next strap to be, and then do the exact same thing. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. And after you add your straps, the pieces should look something like this. And oh my gosh, you guys, I think that this is coming together really, really well. Again, I've never crocheted a corset before, or like any top similar to a corset, so I'm pretty proud of myself for this one. But yeah, all I did was, again, just start from the corner here, you know, after we finish this portion, and I crochet my way over to where I wanted to make the back strap. And I just made the back strap just by going back and forth on the area where I wanted the strap to be, and then I just added a chain at the end to, you know, make it tie at the end. But again, you could make your strap as thick as this if you want, or you could just make a chain for your strap if you want to make it thin. And then I went back on the chain with a slip stitch, and then I single crocheted my way back down and across. And then where I wanted the new strap to be, I did the exact same thing, just went back and forth, made a chain at the top, went down on it with a slip stitch. Then when I reached this portion, it's single crocheted my way down and across, and then down again, down to the point, up here, and across, and ended right over here. And just repeated the same exact process to make 2 of these. And now all we have to do is attach the 2 back pieces together and make the lace-up portion in the front, and then we are completely done. Woo! This is so cool. So again, I ended right here in the back. So I'm going to, first of all, seal off the first one that I did. Hiya. And then I'm going to now make sure that the 2 pieces are facing the right way. Put the so the pieces that you want to actually like be in the front should be facing away from you, and then the back side of it should be facing you when you attach the pieces together. So put them together like this. Put your hook through the last loop from the side of the project. Align them where you want them to be attached together, so the corners together. And then you just slip stitch them together. And all these slip stitches is going through the stitch, in this case 2 stitches because you're putting 2 pieces together, and then bring it through the 2 stitches, and then bringing it through the loop on your hook. So it's just going through the stitch, yarning over, bringing it back through the stitches and through the last loop on your hook. And it's just one swift movement like so, and it should be attached just like that. So you're going to do that all along the side right here, and then we're going to cut the yarn from the yarn ball and make the lace up design in the front. And once you have slip stitched your way all the way across, it should look something like this from the inside, and then on the outside it should be nice and clean and pretty. And that's why I think it's important for you to slip stitch it inside out, essentially, to keep this hidden away, unless of course you want this to be showing on the outside, then you know you could do that too. But I like the way that this looks instead. It's a lot cleaner and more seamless. But yeah, after you're done slip stitching the 2 back sides together, you're going to cut the yarn from the yarn ball and then make the actual lace up design. So we're just going to essentially make 2 straps in the front, and then we're just going to lace it up. Really, really easy. So I'm just going to seal that, and this is what the project should look like. You probably won't be able to see the whole thing because it's too long, but this is essentially what it looks like when it's like open. So we got the straps up here, and then we have the cups on either side, and now we're just going to fold it like this and kind of align it like this. And now we're going to start from both sides of the top right here. So first I'm going to make a very long chain of probably like 150 chains once I attach it to the bottom right here. And then I'm going to detach the yarn from the yarn ball and then reattach it to the other side, make another 150 chains for the strap, and then I'm going to lace it up. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to attach it right here, and then I'm going to start chaining my 150 chains. Okay, so 150 chains was a little bit too long for me, so I did 125, but yeah, it's still a really long chain because, again, we're going to use it for weaving in and out in the front or lacing it up, and I feel like it's a decent enough length to go back and forth like this, like whoop, 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 and then still have some room to like tie. So totally up to you how long you want to make your strap, but yeah, after you make your strap, you're going to go back on it with a slip stitch. I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, but I like to go back on it with a slip stitch just so it's a little bit thicker and more like sturdy. So yeah, I'm just going to do that, and then once I reach the bottom, I'm going to detach the yarn from the yarn ball and then reattach it to the other side and make the other strap, and then I will show you how to lace it up. So I went ahead and crocheted both of the straps, and now I'm just going to lace them up. So all we're going to do is kind of figure out where we want them to be aligned, like how wide do you want the lace openings to be, like, you know, the gaps between the lace. Like, you can make it this wide if you want to, you can make them very narrow like this. So it totally depends on your preference. See, this is like more narrow if you want them to be narrow, or if you, again, if you want it to be wide, it could be just like this. I think I'm going to go with a little bit more narrow. So all I'm going to do is pick where I want to attach the strap to and bring it over to the opposite side of where it is currently, and then put my hook through the stitch I want the strap to go through, bring the strap through that stitch with my hook, and then with my hands, and voila, it is attached to the opposite side. And I'm just going to do that all along the front here, and then I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other strap, except I'm going to attach it to the opposite side of where I attached the strap on this side. So I'm going to try to align it as close as possible so it's even. So if I attached it on this strap on this side, I'm going to attach this strap over here and kind of like make it straight, you know what I mean? I'm just going to do that all throughout the top until I reach the top. So that's how you lace up your corset. And yeah, so I will meet you once I am done attaching the straps. And after you've laced up your corset, you are completely done with your top, and oh my gosh, I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. Again, it is the very first time I ever crocheted anything like this before, and I've been obsessed with wearing corsets or like corset belts lately. So I was like, you know what, I need to make a crochet version to see if it's even possible, and sure enough, it's possible. And now that I know that I can make a crochet version, I'm really going to be going crazy with these. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video and if you like crochet videos in general, I have a ton of them on my channel, so go ahead and check out the rest of my channel. I have so many beginner friendly videos or more advanced videos for other tops and accessories like hats and scarves and bags. So if you enjoy crochet, please consider checking out the rest of my channel, and follow me on Instagram at Krystal Everdeen, as well as TikTok, also at Krystal Everdeen. Believe me, it's a fun time. Thank you so much again for watching. Don't forget to click that red subscribe button if you have not already, so I can see you next time. Bye, and have a magical day.
These days, under the sun together, these days, let's make them last forever. These days, let's hope they last forever.